scrolling Pottery Barn and Kirkland's and Michael's, and holy moly, my wallet cringed. So what did I do? I got to work duping their Christmas decor. Get ready, friends. We are transforming Christmas decor without breaking the bank. I'm breaking down 10 genius dupes from Kirkland's, Michael's, and Pottery Barn that look so expensive but cost less than a Starbucks coffee. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'm so excited to show you these dupes. All right, let's get to it. Okay, first up, I was scrolling on Pottery Barn and saw these adorable gingerbread plates, but holy Toledo, expensive. And I thought, I bet we can do that. And we did. I can't wait for you to see it. So for this project, I'm using multi-surface paint. This one is brown. I'm having some puffy paint. I also have a Dollar Tree clear plate. The brown, I think the color was coffee. All right, so for this project, you want to start by cleaning the back of your plate. I just spray some rubbing alcohol on it and wipe it down. Again, I got my plate from Dollar Tree. Can you get these clip plates elsewhere? I don't know. I put mine on a Lazy Susan because I felt like it was easier to do the patterns and all the things. So what I'm going to do is, now here's the first thing. Key is start on the outside, because if you're like me, I can't get, like, even if I measure, I always measure wrong. So my encouragement to you is to start on the outside and work your way in. That way you're going to have a little bit more symmetry. And again, this doesn't need to be perfect either. Like, you want it to be a little sloppy, because that's what a gingerbread, you know, like gingerbreads typically are not perfection. So all I'm going to do is take my puffy paint. I got this puffy paint, by the way, I think either at Michael's or at Walmart. And I'm just making designs. The first design, I did little scallops, then I did little polka dots in the middle of those. Like, you just keep building off of that first design that you do. And then I did little lines. Like, again, don't overthink it. Don't try to be perfect with it, or else you're going to wind up messing up. Just try to have fun with it, right? Like, just get creative. And the other nice thing is you can always wipe it off. And here's the other nice thing. It's a Dollar Tree plate, friends. It'll be okay, right? Like, that's why I like using Dollar Tree stuff, because you wind up, you know, like, it's inexpensive. So I don't have to, you know, if I mess it up, I mess it up. It was $1.50 or whatever, right? But again, all I'm doing is just building off that design. I did some lines, I did some dots. Now I'm doing little X's. Like, again, just have fun. The other nice thing about doing the design from the outside working in is you can see I'm resting my hand on the plate. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I started from the center and worked my way out. So there's that. The other thing that I'm going to encourage you is the puffy paint. You want to make sure to clean the nozzle, you know, like just wipe it off every once in a while so that you don't have gloppies on it. And then the other thing is to make sure every once in a while you shake it down so that all of the fluid is in the, you know, at the bottom of, you know, so that it's by the tip, so that you don't get any air pockets in it. Because if you get air pockets, it kind of, you know, like blobs on it and get bubbles, and that's no fun. But there we go. You could even see that it, you know, I kind of messed up a little bit. You want to let it dry. I let mine dry overnight. And then I take a dauber and I'm using, again, a multi-surface paint. And I'm just dabbing on the paint on the back. And are you kidding me? Look at how beautiful that color is. So awesome. It was in my stash. I'm so happy I used it. I'm using multi-surface paint. If you didn't use multi-surface paint, then you would want to use a sealant on the back, like dishwasher safe Mod Podge or something, so that you can wash the plate. I'm using multi-surface, so once it's cured, once it's fully dry, it is actually top rack dishwasher safe. But I never would put this in the dishwasher. I would just hand wash it. We're going to use ours for cookies and stuff for the table. Is that not going to be fun? Now, I let it dry. And are you ready? I can't wait for you to see this. Come on, look at how pretty it is. And you can tell that it's not perfect, and that's the joy of it. I love it. And then just going over the comparison, the Pottery Barn version was $18.50. Mine, $3.50. Thank you very much. Was that plate not super fun? I could do a whole set of them. I love. Anyways, coming up next, it's a little bit of a fail. But we learned a whole lot of things. We're going to make some cups. They were Pottery Barn dupes, and I thought I was being slick. I wasn't. Kind of messed up, but super cool lesson for you so you don't mess up. So let's get to the project, and I'll show you how I messed up. Ugh. So for this project, I'm using Aleene's Rhinestone Adhesive. I also have some buttons. These are little gingerbread buttons. I have some glasses that I had gotten from Dollar Tree, different, like they have lines or dots or whatever. Then I also have some snowflake buttons. And then I have these cute from Glitter Heart Company. They have these cute little polymer little candy canes. So to start, I'm going to cut the backs off of each of the buttons, and you're still going to have little nubbies there. So I did use I have it's like a little Dremel, but it's for nail techs. Here's a tip for you, friends. Those nail techs have really cool stuff that you can use on pens. And for this particular purpose, we're going to use it to get the backer off. It's really slick, and it's a little smaller than a Dremel, and I like it. It makes it easier. So anyways, all I'm doing is sand. You could just sand it off if you don't have that. So all the backs are flat now. Then I take my adhesive and I put a really big glop on because I was trying to make it look like those Pottery Barn glasses where it almost looks like the glue is seeping out. It looked really cool. So I thought I was being slick, and I was like, all right, we're going to put a nice big glob and we're going to push it in, and then it'll be fine. I'm sure some of you are like, oh, Colette, you have gone awry. You already know what's going to happen, right? Tell me in the comments if you know what's going to happen. Could you see it coming? Could you see the train wreck happening before it happened? So I just went all around the glass and added all of our little buttons. Okay. And it's adorable. Like, look, I was like, yes, this is going to be perfect. Love it. Love it so much. And I did that. I did the snowflakes. Then I did another one that had our little. Now, I did some that had just a little bit of glue, but then others I was like, I really want it to kind of like seep out around it so it looked like it was embedded in the glass. Yep, I know. Love me through this. I wasn't thinking. I was lost in the sauce, friends. But you'll see here, I just added a few of the cute little candy canes and our little gingerbread people. Like, look how cute that cup is. So adorable, right? Love it. Look at what happened. I let it dry and they all slid off. They all slid down the glass. The ones that I didn't put a lot of adhesive on didn't. See? So the lesson of this is, A, don't get lost in the sauce. B, just use a little bit of adhesive, because if not, it's going to slide down your glass. Grr. Anyways, let's go to the comparison. So Pottery Barn's, a set of those, $56. Mine, $12. You're welcome.
See, so they're adorable. Don't get me wrong. And once I figured out how to do it, adorbs, right? But now you won't make the same mistake I did. Yay! Coming up next, we're staying with Pottery Barn, and we're going to make some napkin rings from ribbon. And, oh, they're so pretty.
For mine, I'm going to use some Dollar Tree shower curtain rings. I also have this, I took them out of the package so you could see. There you go. These are the napkin rings that we're using. Then I also have this garland I had gotten from Michael's. Now, I know it says it's like $30-something. I had a coupon and it was like 40% off. So there's that. So I'm going to take the bells off. Don't worry, we're using the bells for something else. We want the ribbon off of this though. So you could do it one of two ways. One, you could use wire cutters and cut them off. And it actually was more challenging to do it this way than it was to just kind of, they're what do you call these? You know those rings for keychains? That's what they are. They're just little ones. So if you just kind of like you would get your keys off, if you do it that way, it actually was easier. All them words to say, just do it that way. Then I'm pulling apart all of the ribbons. So I'm pulling the ribbons off of the main ribbon for that garland. Then I'm going to add some glue to our little shower curtain ring. And then we're going to wrap the main ribbon around the shower curtain ring. Now, you can use the pieces parts from the ribbon part. Totally can, and I did, and you just splice them together. But this one, I had this long piece of ribbon, so I figured I would do this. Again, this came about because I used the bells for a different dupe. Stay tuned for that. And I had all this ribbon and all these pretty ribbon, like little bows, and I thought I had to do something with them, and I saw this dupe, and I was like, oh, yes. So we're going to just keep gluing, wrapping all the way around. Could you use just regular velvet ribbon for this? Absolutely. But I was like, I'm not fantastic at making bows. I'll be honest, right? We all have our strengths and this isn't mine. So the reason why I was really jazzed about this was because the bows were already made. So, but again, if you're cool with doing bows or if you just want to glue on a Dollar Tree bow, could totally do that. This, I'm just trying to utilize all the things that I had. So again, glue wrap all the way around. I think I got, you could get 3 rings out of the long garland ribbon that I have here. You could get 3 rings out of that, maybe even 4 if you're really good about it. I wasn't being super careful. But you also have all of the pieces from the garland that have the bows on it. So plenty to make a full set. I absolutely could have made 10 out of this garland. I just made 4 because you know who I am and ain't nobody got time to sit and make tons and tons of stuff, right? All right, I have time. It's fine. But anyway, so you see here, I'm just wrapping. Get to the end, cut off the excess, add some more glue. Now you want to make sure that the glue that you do is not going to be seen, right? So you want to make it so that you glue that end where you're going to glue your bow. Does that make sense? So here I am. I'm just putting the bow. I just put some more glue on and I added the bow to it. And are you kidding me? Look at how cute this napkin ring is. I am so excited. Now I put paper napkins in mine because I couldn't figure out how to fold a cloth napkin. Love me through that. But look at how cute this is. How much cuter it would look with a cloth napkin, right? But beautiful. All right, let's get to the comparison. Again, this was Pottery Barn. Their set was $30.99. Mine, $8.25. Yay!
Goodness, I love those napkin rings. So elegant. Coming up next, let's continue on doing some more gingerbread themed and do a dupe from Pottery Barn of a little gingerbread house. So cute.
So for this project, we are going to be using some puffy paint. Got mine from Walmart. I also have some multi-surface paint. The color is coffee. I also have this little birdhouse I got at Dollar General. It says $3. I think I paid 30 cents for it. It was 90% off. Adorable, right? Yes. Okay. So to start, what we're going to do is just sand the front just so that we have almost a clean slate. Then we're going to paint everything that coffee color. Everything gets painted. Front, back, sides. You probably don't have to do... Listen, once I did this, I probably shouldn't have done the back. So you don't have to do the back if you don't want to. So once I get done with the brush, I then use my dauber and I'm just dabbing on with the paint over what we just brushed on, just so that it gives it a little texture and takes away those brush strokes. Once that's fully dry, we're going to go to town and we're going to add our embellishments. Now listen, don't get crazy about this. Just let it free flow, right? Like just be fun with it. This is like decorating a gingerbread house if you were to do the actual food one. So for this, I'm doing like a little scallop edge. For me, it's easier for me to start on the outside and work my way in than it is to start on the inside and work my way out. Not only because of symmetry, but also because you see how I'm leaning my hand against stuff? So it just makes it a little easier to avoid mess and smudging. But you'll see I'm just adding dots and dashes and little hearts or V's or X's. Like, get creative with it. If it doesn't work, like if you don't like, I hate that pattern, you can wipe it off and go over it again. If you do if you make a mistake on the inside and you don't want to wipe all of it off, get a Q-tip. Listen, it's not an emergency. Okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. We're supposed to be having fun. So you'll see, again, I'm just doing all sorts of little designs. Could I have been more creative with it? Maybe. Go online and look at different gingerbread patterns. But I just wanted to have fun and let it flow however it did. So here we are. We're doing lines, dashes, like I said. Did I actually put my hand in the side? Yes, I did. And I had to redo it. I had to redo it. I'm not sure if you're going to catch it on film, but yeah, I did smudge it and it was fine. We recovered. It was not a big deal. So what I'm going to encourage you though is each side that you do, take a heat gun or something or let it dry, air dry before you go on to the next one. So that way it doesn't drip down because if you do it really thick, it will drip. But we're going to let it dry. This is it. I did the roof and everything, and look at how pretty it is. I am so excited about this. I love it. So happy. Okay, so let's go to the comparison. Pottery Barn sells theirs for $26.99. Mine, I paid $2.30. Yep.
Was that little house not adorable? Love it. Okay, coming up next, we're going to Michael's, and we're going to make a really pretty nutcracker frame. Ooh, hold on. If you haven't already, quick reminder, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the Crazy Pants DIY fun.
Continuing on our dupes, now we've moved on to Michael's, and they inspired me to do this cute little frame. So I have a Dollar Tree frame. I have a printout that I used some Cricut sticker paper, printable sticker paper, that I printed my image on that I made in Canva. So here's our little frame. I take it apart. I'm going to take the inside part and I'm going to trace where it would line up on that card. And then we're going to cut that out. Now listen, after doing this, I was like, why didn't I just print it out on cardstock? That was silly. I know. Listen, sometimes I get lost in the sauce and I lose my mind. You don't have to do it on sticker paper, but I did. So there you go. So here I am just tracing the outline of that card, cutting out our sticker paper. Again, if you were smarter than me, which I'm sure you are, you would just print it on cardstock. But not cardstock. But anyways, I cut it out. Then I'm going to, now listen, you don't have to do this part. I like a junky look. So I took some of my Dixie Belle wax and just kind of made the edges look worn or distressed. If this isn't your jam, don't do it. It's fine. I love it. I think it looks really cool looking distressed and aged, but again, and you could do this with ink, like just go over the edges. You could do it with other wax. Sky's the limit. But anyways, this is how I did it. Ta-da! And I'm using this really cool brush from Dixie Belle too. It's really cool. Anyways, carrying on. There it is. Super pretty, in my opinion. So then I'm going to take the backer off of our sticker paper and I'm going to adhere it to our little card thing that goes in the frame. Again, I would advise just print it on cardstock because now I can't take this off and use it again. So now my commitment has, there's some commitment here, and you know how I feel about commitment with my crafts. But there it is. We're going to put the backer back on. Is it exactly like Michael's? No, but it was inspired by Michael's, and mine was super inexpensive and super fun to make. So, there's that. I'm just putting back our cute little frame. Again, this was a frame from Dollar Tree that I love. Then I decided we need to junk it up a little bit more. So then I added just a little bit of sanding, not a lot, but enough for it to look distressed and aged for me. Again, this is totally optional. If this isn't your jam, don't do it. But I love the way that it kind of, is like a little scratched, and I don't know. I like that kind of stuff, but that's just me. I know that's not everybody's jam. I think it looks so pretty. Look at how fun that is. Then I decided let's add a little bit more. So then I added just a couple sprigs of pine and then some fake little berries from Dollar Tree. And there it is. Ta-da! So pretty. All right, let's get to the comparison from Michael's. Theirs is $17.49. Mine, I paid $3.25. Yay!
Okay, sticking with Michael's, we're going to do another dupe. And this one is a simple napkin wrapped candle. I can't wait for you to see it.
For this project, I'm going to use some candles that I had gotten from Dollar Tree that I've reused multiple times. Can you tell? I reuse them. I just peel the napkin off after. It's fine. But anyways, then I also got some napkins from Marshall's. They are so pretty. Yes, did I pay the price? I did. But look at how beautiful. This one has scripture on it. The other one has these beautiful scene with that deep green. Love that. Now, parchment paper is needed. Absolutely. Don't use wax paper. Ask me how I know. And it's a mess. Get your napkin down to 1 ply. You've seen me do this before, right? This is no-brainers, right? So I get down to 1 ply on my napkin. Then I'm going to cut my napkin down so that it is the width of our candle-ish. It's okay to overhang it on the bottom, but you do want it to be flush to the top. So that's what I'm doing here, is just cutting down my napkin. A lot of people ask, can you burn the candles after you've made these? I don't burn candles. I suppose you could. it's a candle in and of itself is a fire hazard. So you just want to be mindful, right? Just watch it. So now I'm going to take my candle and I'm going to make sure it's nice and aligned to the top. And then I'm going to wrap it around our candle. You want it to get nice and tight. You don't want there to be any wrinkles. Then I'm going to match up our edges and cut off the excess. Then we're going to take our parchment paper. And if you get your parchment paper, you could get the already cut pieces from Dollar Tree, and those are magical, but I didn't have those today. So you're going to take your parchment paper and you're going to wrap it around your candle. Then after you've got that nice and tight, you're going to take your little iron. I have my wee little iron that I had gotten from Walmart. I'm sure you can buy these elsewhere, but then you're going to iron it. And see, when I iron it, you can see that the wax is melting and the candle is absorbing that napkin. Go all the way around. Now, if you just go all the way around like this, the candle is going to melt into the napkin. It's going to be fine. But you might have little flat parts all the way around because of the ironing. So how I avoid that is I go all the way around, iron it, then I go back around one more time, and then I really roll it under my hands. And I'll show you how I roll it in just a second. But I'm just going around and around, making sure that we have all of that napkin absorbed into our candle. There's the rolling. You see how it's just to make sure that A, it's in there, and B, that we kind of flatten out all of those flat parts and not flat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to make sure that it's all rounded and we don't have flat sides. Ta-da, there's that. And then we're going to take this out and look at, oh, look how pretty it looks. But we do still have that overage on the bottom. So all I'm going to do is flip my candle over. I'm going to put my parchment paper back on, and then we're just going to do the same process for the bottom so that the overage adheres to the bottom of the candle. I did flip it over and just kind of press it just to make sure that it's really on there. And there it is. Are you kidding? I love this. I do this for every season though. You know this, right? Look at how pretty these are. I did one of each of those napkins and I'm obsessed. I love it. But let's quick get to the breakdown. So Michael's charges, all right, listen, it was $4.99 for the candle, but I made three. I made three candles, and averaging mine out, I paid $3.75 for all three. Yeah, I know.
Wasn't that so much fun? So easy. Okay, coming up next, we're going to be doing some ornaments from Pottery Barn. They are right down my alley, farmhouse vibe and all the things.
We're going to save some serious cash here, friends. I'm so excited about these ornaments. So for this project, you're going to need a package of patterned ornaments. I'm using Dixie Belle Color Fluff chalk paint, and I also have some of this. It's like a champagne gold color. So we're going to start by taking all of the tops off of our ornaments. Again, they should be patterned. What I mean by patterned is, you know, there's like a, what's the word? Why are words so hard? You know what I mean? Like there's ridges or whatever on it. It just makes it look prettier and more like what Pottery Barn did. So all I'm going to do is paint the outside of our ornament, and I'm again using chalk paint because it dries super fast and it dries matte, which is what I want. Go all the way around. If you'll see here, I'm using my brush and I'm doing a swirl motion because then it gets in the nooks and crannies, but it doesn't leave big glops of paint. You want to do the entire ornament, and then we're going to let them dry. You could do 2 coats. I did 2 coats of paint on mine just because I really liked it to be that white instead of having any of the ornament shine through. So here's the next step. I took that champagne colored acrylic paint and I'm just dabbing some onto a little piece of a sponge, and then I'm just wiping it onto our ornament. I just want those high parts of those ridges to get that champagne color, and I want the rest to be left so that it still looks country and white, and you know what I'm saying? Like this all farmhousey kind of vibe. Words are really hard for me today. Thanks for extending me some grace. What the problem is. Anyways, you see what I'm doing. Go all the way around. Yay. I love it. Like, stop, right? The pictures at the end don't do any justice to how pretty this looks. I am so excited about these. And am I going to put them on a tree? Probably not. Probably not. For some reason, I'm obsessed with dough bowls lately and my jadeite bowls, so I'll probably put them in those. But the tops, I actually took my homemade rub and buff, and I just wanted to tone them down just a little bit. And if you'll see here, it's just a little bit toned down. You could use regular rub and buff, or you don't have to do anything. Here's another tip. To get these on, you might already know this, but if you pull that little stopper down on the ornament wire part, it actually squeezes those little prongs together, and you can put the topper back on so much easier. I just learned this, so I have to tell you. So then again, I'm not putting mine on the tree, but if you wanted to, you could do ribbon for the hanger. I am actually just making bows with ribbon at the end, just because, again, I want to put mine in my jadeite bowl because I thought it would be pretty. And look at how pretty these are. I'm so excited about them. And look at it. Oh, they look so nice. All right, let's get to the comparison. Pottery Barn is selling a set of these for $62.50. There's our glass, I know, but mine, $5 for the 4. You're welcome.
Coming up next, we're going to Kirkland's and we're going to dupe their gold nutcrackers. So fun.
So for this project, I got these little nutcrackers for $3 each at Target. They're in the dollar spot. They're really heavy though. Then I also have some gold acrylic paint. And so I started doing this, and I was just going to paint them gold. Mistake. It does not work. It did not work at all. Look at it. It just like is like see-through. It worked poorly, very poorly. So if this happens to you, this is what I did. I wiped off that gold. I took some Dixie Belle chalk paint. The color is Caviar. You could use any chalk paint. And then I did 2 coats. I painted each of them black. Now listen, this was like, I was trying to salvage this project. And so I was like, oh, I'll just paint them black and then I'll paint them gold and it'll be fine. I had no idea the awesomeness that I was about to see. I'm so excited. So here we did 1 coat, let them dry. Here's the second coat. See how important that second coat is? Look at how much better that looks. So do each of them in a second coat. Trust me, friends. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I have to stop building it up because then you'll be disappointed. But anyway, so here is the gold. So we're going to put the gold on. And as I was doing the gold, now the first one I did a little bit heavier handed because I wanted it to be that deep gold. As I was doing it though, I was like, wait a minute. This looks so like almost like a metal, if that makes any sense, like that pewter. I'm not describing it well, but you know what I'm saying, like that distressed kind of old metal. Then I started getting really excited because I'm like, what did I just figure out? I mean, again, you could go all in on the gold, any variation of gold. You could do rose gold, champagne color gold, whatever, and do them fully gold. But as I was doing them, I was like, oh, it looks so cool to do just like so what I did was I just had my brush a little bit dry. Does that make sense? So you'll see here, the other one, the one I just did was really, I really kept dipping the brush in the paint. This one, I let the brush go dry and I kind of like dry brushing all over the nutcracker. I mean, holy moly. Yeah, I know. I keep telling you this and you're like, enough already, but come on. It is so much fun. Listen, and I don't know if you know this, I'm trying to make Christmas items for my husband. Him and my daughter-in-law love Christmas, but they like this like brassy, like everything is bright and rah. And I'm trying to keep my house farmhouse. So I'm like, if I could just give them all the farmhouse Christmas items, then maybe I could tolerate it. I don't know. So I'm giving these to my husband. But anyways, look at how pretty they are. What? I know. All right, let's go through the comparison, all that. So Kirkland's is selling these for $14.99. I paid $12 for 3 or $4 for 1. How fun, right?
I gotta be honest. I think I like my nutcrackers better. Okay, coming up next, we are going to make the most beautiful wreath out of bells. It sounds amazing, but didn't cost a ton.
So for this project, I am using this garland from Michael's. I know it looks like I spent a lot, but I had a coupon. But they had these big bells on it. So that's what I wanted to use from that. I also have a couple of packages of these silver bells from Dollar Tree. And then there's also a couple packages of the bigger, they're like snowflake bells. I have some ribbon from Hobby Lobby, and then I have this wire wreath from Dollar Tree. So to start, I had taken that wreath and I just snapped it where it is connected. That's all I did there. And then we're going to take our bells. Now, the snowflake bells, I couldn't fit them on the wire. So all I did was take a screwdriver and kind of just put it in the hole just to make it so that I can get the wire, to get it on the wire wreath. And it worked just fine. I just kind of pressed it so that the inside of the bell kind of dipped in a bit more. So then I started alternating putting the bells on. So I did like a snowflake one, then one of the big bells, then one of the smaller bells. I think it depends on how many of each bell you have. Like if you have a ton of, like for me, I had a ton of the snowflake bells. So I would do like 2 snowflake bells, then a huge bell, then one of the smaller bells. Like however you need to make it work. It's totally, totally cool. Again, we're just going to keep doing that. Now, when I was putting them on, I didn't worry about arranging them or anything so that you couldn't see the wreath form underneath. We're going to do that later. So don't worry about anything other than just put the bells on the wreath. We can manipulate the bells after, okay? But again, I'm just bell however you need to do it. I had a ton of those, so the snowflake ones. But here we go. We have them all on there. Next, I'm going to get a piece of duct tape and I'm going to overlap that wreath just a little bit so that we can adhere them together again. So all I'm doing is taking my duct tape and wrapping it around the wreath so that it's together and just wrap it around a couple times. Don't worry that the bells aren't going to be able to go over it because we're going to cover it with ribbon. So there is perfect. So then I have some ribbon. Again, I got this at Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance. It was like $1.72 or something. I take a long piece and I wrapped it around the center where we had put the duct tape. Then I had made a bow. So this one, I just make like that cancer ribbon. And then we're going to pinch it in the center and take another piece of our ribbon and tie that in the center. And it makes a really simple, pretty, elegant bow. That piece that I'm tying, I had taken the ribbon that we're using and I cut it in half. Just be aware that it will shed everywhere if you do that. And you'll see all those little specks. That's the ribbon. Ribbon glitter. Hooray. So, all right. So then I had put some glue where we put the duct tape and the ribbon, and I'm just adhering the ribbon so that it's really stuck onto that wreath. And then I'm adding some more glue, and then we're going to glue our ribbon or bow onto that. Look, and you could do any color ribbon. It doesn't have to be this color, but are you kidding me? Look at how pretty it is. And it sounds amazing. I'm going to put a sound clip in it because it is so pretty. Anyways, let's get to the comparison. Pottery Barn is selling their wreath for $229. Mine, I made for $25. Yay! I love it!
Coming up next, we are going to make some beautiful framed holiday sentiments, but we're not going to spend nearly as much as they're charging.
Let's finish up our holiday dupes by going to Kirkland's, and we're going to redo their holiday sentiment signs. So for this project, we're going to use some canvases I had gotten from Dollar Tree, and I had done some printout. These are just on cardstock, and I made the graphic in Canva. I have 3 of them. So first thing you're going to do is take the staples out of your canvas. You go all the way around. Now, you know, it's easier said than done. You could cut it off, but I felt like I like taking the canvas off this way. Then just take the canvas part off, and then you have a beautiful frame. Now, I distressed my frame by using a hammer and just doing that. Then I painted each of them. The color is fluff that I'm using. It's a chalk paint, and I'm just doing the front, the insides, and the outside. I left the back just regular. You're not going to see it. Then I took some wax. The wax I'm using is from Dixie Belle, and I'm just waxing each of the sides, the front, and the inside, and go all the way around. this wax is one of my favorite. And yes, it looks a hot mess right now, but trust the process. It is going to be amazing. So excited. And you could use any wax for this. You could even dry brush a color on it, like red or black or whatever. But I just chose the brown. Then after that, I sanded it. And are you kidding me? Listen, I know that this vibe isn't for everybody, but oh my gosh, this made me so happy. Look at how cool that looks. I'm using my Gator sander and I'm just going around each side and I'm just sanding it. And now you do want to stabilize it though when you're sanding it, because these are Dollar Tree frames and they are not completely sturdy. But anyway, and then I did the outside too, all of those edges, and it slays me. I'm obsessed. I love it so much. So yeah, you're probably going to see a lot of frames and a lot of distressing methods doing this because I just love it so much and I get obsessed with stuff. It's fine. So then I have the little printouts that I had done, and I'm going to put my frame on the printout, and then I'm just going to trace where the frame would be and then cut it out. Now, the next part, I'm going to probably lose some people because I know the distress thing isn't for everybody, but it is for me, and these are for my house. So I then took my distressing brush that I use for the frames, and I went over and I distressed the pages. Listen, I know, love me through it, but I love that primitive, junky vibe. I just love it. If you don't, obviously don't do that part. It's fine. But I just went around and just added some, brown to it. And oh, I love it. So then what you're going to do is put your printout on the back of your frame, get it lined up. And then I just used a regular office stapler to staple it all the way around on the back. Now, could I have used ribbon on the back to cover those staples? Sure. Could I have added a hanger? Absolutely. Did I? No. But look at how pretty these are. Are you kidding me? I love them. All right, let's go to the comparison. So Kirkland is selling theirs for $34.99, and I made mine for $5.75. Hooray! Anyways, friends, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this inspires you.
Well, there you have it. 10 super easy and super budget-friendly dupes that we made for the holiday season. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite and which one are you going to try first. Thanks, friends, so much for watching. And don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the Crazy Pants DIY fun. Thanks, friends, so much for joining me. And until next time.